Right, so today we're going to talk about what in my opinion is the most frustrating part of photography, and that is trying to control your ISO. So stick around. What's up everybody, welcome back to another video here at Better Media. My name is Nathan and it's an absolute pleasure to have all of you here today. Thank you so much for clicking on that thumbnail. So before we get started, I'm going to let you know that I use the hashtag over on Instagram, BMPix2020. So if in fact you do use Instagram and you like sharing your work, please consider starting using that hashtag. That way I will start showing your work on this channel and I'll start shouting you guys out. So please consider doing that. Now, talk about this channel, if you've not yet done it and you do like my videos, why not consider subscribing to the channel? That way you can stay up to date with everything that we post here on Better Media. But getting to this particular video. Now, like we have discussed before, when you take a photograph, you are in control about the light that enters your camera. And the three main elements that you need to sort of learn how to juggle are, of course, shutter speed, aperture, and ISO. And in this video, we're going to talk about particularly the ISO, because it can be quite frustrating. If you are ever taking a photograph, especially in lower light, and it doesn't come out sharp or it comes out grainy, it is generally because your ISO is too high. And learning how to balance all three of these sort of elements will also help make you take better photographs. So we're going to talk about ISO here today, and exactly what is ISO. So ISO controls how sensitive your camera is to light. When it is dark, you need to make the most of the limited light, so you increase your camera sensitivity to light by increasing the ISO. And just the same when it's a brighter day or you're in lighter conditions, your camera doesn't need to be that sensitive to light, so you decrease the sensitivity by decreasing the ISO. Now, depending on your camera, as some cameras are more sensitive to light than others. So if you have a camera that is very sensitive to light, it means you don't need to increase your ISO in darker situations. So it means you can use a quicker shutter speed in darker sort of surroundings, which is good because that will also help against camera shake. Now, where you want your level of ISO to be depends on your actual surroundings. So for example, if you're out on a nice sunny day, there's lots of light knocking around, you don't really need your ISO up that much. So 100 is quite a nice level to go through. But if the clouds come over and it becomes a bit overcast, you might need to crank your ISO up to about 400. But again, as the sun goes down, you might need to bring that to 800. And if you go indoors or if you're shooting at night, that's when you need to start going up a little bit. But this is where you need to be careful, because the higher your ISO, the more noisy your image becomes. So for example, for these photographs that I have taken for this particular video is of my 5mm lens. I have started my ISO off quite low at about 100. So you can see as you zoom in, it is nice and crisp, it is nice and everything is in detail. But as you go up to 400, to 800, you can start seeing there's a little bit of noise inside the photograph. And if we go to 1600, it gets a bit more noisier, and I've got right up to the very top, 6400 ISO. So that means all of the light that is coming into the camera is being sort of manipulated by the camera. I am creating light that isn't actually there. And this is where the juggle comes in. Okay, this is where your shutter speed and your aperture also comes in. So with the whole three of them, so if you are shooting outside and it is dark and you don't want your ISO up too much, you need to open up your aperture to make it as wide as possible so you can let more light in, so you can bring your ISO down. And exactly the same as your shutter speed, you might need to slow your shutter speed down to get a nice crisper image so your ISO can come down as well. And that's where the juggle comes in. So pretty much rule of thumb, to keep your ISO down, you might need your aperture open. And also you might need to speed up your shutter speed. But again, if you don't want to have a sort of a slow shutter speed, you need to bring that down a little bit. You might need to, again, keep your aperture open and then bring your ISO up. And it just having that little bit of a feel. And the only way of perfecting this whole thing is practice. Practice, practice, practice. Okay? Take your camera out, go out and enjoy yourself. And if you fail every now and then, fine, fail, own it. Because you're not really letting down anybody. If you take a bad photograph, yeah, fair enough. You could probably fix that in post. But as much as you can fix most issues in post, you can't fix them all. All right, so the more you can do within camera, the better your editing process will be. So once you've sort of mastered these three wonderful things, then all of a sudden your photography goes to the next level. Okay, guys? So that's it. I think that's it. I think that is definitely it. I hope you've enjoyed these range of videos. If you have only just watched this one and you are interested in shutter speed and also the aperture, I will leave links all over the shop for them as well. But of course you can go over to the channel and have a bit of a find of them yourself. But guys, thank you so much for watching. I hope you found this entertaining. I hope you found it interesting. If you have, please leave a comment down there below and I look forward to reading that, and I promise I will always comment back with any questions or anything that you might have. But guys, thank you so much for watching this video. Until next time, I've been Nathan, you've been sensational. Thank you and goodbye. Mwah, 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 mwah.